Welcome to the Full-Time FBA Show. In each episode, it's our goal to help you turn part-time hours into a full-time income selling almost anything on Amazon. And now, your hosts of the show, Stephen and Rebecca Smotherman.
Welcome to episode number 284 of the Full-Time FBA Show. Today, we're talking about how data is your friend, how to read Amazon data without all the overwhelm. And to talk with us through this topic today is my wife, Rebecca, my business partner. You know her and love her, just, well, maybe not as much as I do, but she's here. How you doing, Rebecca?
I'm doing great. I would hope that you love me the most of anybody.
I'm pretty sure I do, yeah.
But anyway, I hope we're both pretty lovable when it comes to helping people with their full-time FBA business. That's what we're here to do. And we love our listeners. And we're really excited to get into this topic today.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
We have a content-packed episode today, but before we get into all the details, I want to remind you, if you don't want to miss out on anything Full-Time FBA has to offer, then you want to be on our email newsletter. Mm-hmm. On the Full-Time FBA newsletter, we send you weekly updates, including Amazon reseller strategies that are working right now, as well as free training videos, podcast updates, coupon codes for Amazon reseller resources, training courses, tons of freebies. And speaking of freebies, when you join the Full-Time FBA email newsletter, you'll get access to 4 unique freebies that will help you move your Amazon business forward today, as well as other helpful freebies we drop from time to time. So be sure you're on our newsletter, and all you got to do is head over to fulltimefba.com/subscribe to get on it. All right, Stephen, what is the first word you think of when you hear me say data?
Analyst, data analyst.
That makes sense. For me, it's data overload.
That also makes sense.
I think we need data analysts in the world because of all the data overload, because too much data leads to data overwhelm, which is what we want to help Amazon sellers overcome today.
Yeah, and in fact, some of our listeners might already feel a sense of overwhelmed simply because we're talking about it. I got to say, I love the title of today's podcast episode because data really can be your friend, or maybe better said, your ally.
Absolutely, but still it can get to be too much for some people. So today we're going to help you get a grasp on the most important data points that Amazon sellers need to know and understand.
Okay, and it's going to totally sound like I'm changing the subject, but I'm not.
Okay.
So picture this and see if this sounds familiar. You're an Amazon seller and you find a profitable item to sell on Amazon. The profit is good. The sales rank is good. So you ship it to Amazon and you're all excited, but then it doesn't sell. And to make things worse, other sellers have come in on the listing and are selling at a price way lower than yours. The ROI, meaning the profit, has almost disappeared, and you realize there's just no way anyone's going to buy your product when other sellers are priced way below you. And in the Amazon seller world, this is known as tanking prices.
It's the worst.
Yeah, and we've experienced this way too often, especially in our early days of selling on Amazon.
Yeah, and as a reminder for our listeners, you first started selling on Amazon back in 2011. So that's about 14 years ago. But I think I know that dealing with tanking prices is still one of the most common frustrations of newer Amazon sellers today.
100%. Yeah, it's 100% one of the most common beginner frustrations. And here's the kicker. It's usually only a beginner frustration, because if you don't learn how to avoid this situation, tanking prices, you're never going to stick around long enough to find long-term success as an Amazon seller. So if you've experienced tanking prices or you want to avoid tanking prices, then you're definitely listening to the right podcast episode today.
And tanking prices are bad news for your success, but the good news is that tanking prices are almost 100% avoidable, and we're going to show you how.
Yeah, first off, let's talk about the number one reason prices tank on Amazon. And it comes down to supply and demand. And basically, the law of supply and demand is a law that you just can't break. It means that as supply increases, but if demand does not also increase, then the prices are going to go down. In other words, tank. So, for example, if you're buying inventory to sell on Amazon that you found on clearance from some big chain store, chances are super high that the exact same item that you found on clearance will also be on clearance in all of the other stores nationwide. And if other resellers from across the country are also trying to sell this exact same clearance item to sell on Amazon, then the Amazon market is about to be flooded with many sellers, all selling the exact same item as you. In short, the supply is increasing.
Most of the time when other resellers see all the increased competition, they start lowering their prices because they assume that if they're the lowest price, they will get the next sale. Now, all of the sellers are lowering their prices on this item, and your good find is now priced way too high to ever get a sale.
And that's not the only reason prices tank on Amazon. The second reason prices tank on Amazon is because things change on Amazon all the time. I mean, all the time. A few minutes ago, I told you that data can be your friend or ally because a successful Amazon business is built on data. Not hope, not guesses, not feelings, data. And there's actually a tool out there that successful Amazon sellers use almost daily to completely eliminate the whole issue with tanking prices. In fact, we talk about this tool almost every podcast episode. It's called Keepa, and it's easily my number one favorite tool to help me make quality sourcing decisions on which items I'm going to buy in order to sell on Amazon and which items to pass on. I know which items are going to hold their higher prices, which items are probably going to tank. And you can check out Keepa and play around with it yourself by going over to fulltimefba.com/Keepa. But basically, Keepa helps me have the confidence that the items I'm going to buy to sell on Amazon are actually going to sell for the prices I want them to sell for. And I can also know how quickly I can expect the item to sell.
If you're new to our podcast, I'll give you a quick rundown on how Keepa helps us out almost daily in our Amazon business. Basically, Keepa is a tool that tracks the most important data that we need to know to make the best sourcing decisions in our Amazon business, including sales rank history, pricing history, buy box pricing history, the number of competitors, and tons more data points of almost every item on Amazon. The good news is that these data points are presented in an understandable way. With Keepa, we can see trends on if prices are rising or dropping, if sales are speeding up or slowing down, if the supply is increasing or decreasing.
And Rebecca, I hope you don't get jealous when I say this, but I love Keepa.
I know, but I'm not worried.
I didn't think so. You've known about my love for Keepa for over a decade now. Let's get back to the podcast. Anyway, when I use Keepa the right way, it helps me avoid situations where the prices of my inventory simply tank.
The good news about this amazing Amazon seller tool is that Keepa is super affordable for the monthly fee because of the confidence Keepa gives us when it comes to sourcing inventory to sell on Amazon.
Yeah, I usually tell people, don't tell Keepa that I would pay more for it because I don't want their prices to go up.
Right.
And I'm thankful that their prices...
It's so worth it.
It is. So the good news is Keepa is affordable. The bad news is that Keepa can be a beast to master. There is so much data on Keepa that it could easily lead to some information overload. And the good news to that is that you don't have to learn how to master Keepa alone. In fact, we can help you master Keepa in no time. Right now, you can unlock access to our video-driven Keepa course so that you can see everything Keepa has to offer you in understanding all the sales rank data, the pricing data, the competition data, and finally start making better inventory sourcing decisions, better pricing decisions, and finally know how fast or how slow an item is expected to sell. And that's just scratching the surface.
You can check out our Keepa course right now by going to fulltimefba.com/Keepa course and grab our course as a standalone, or you can get the Keepa course included within our Full-Time FBA coaching program alongside other invaluable and amazing courses. And you can find out more about the coaching program, which includes multiple video courses plus bi-weekly coaching calls, by going to fulltimefba.com/coaching.
So if you're a on your own type of learner, then the Keepa course alone might just be what you need. But if you need more interaction, more answers to questions, encouragement, accountability, community, then the Full-Time FBA coaching program will be a perfect fit for you.
Now, if you're like, I don't know if I need the standalone course or the courses plus coaching, then book a call with Steven and he can help you walk through making that decision. Book a call with him at a time that works for you by going to fulltimefba.com/connect. You can stop wondering what you need to do next and let Stephen help you know with certainty which path is best for you.
Absolutely. And if you're curious about what our coaching program is like, then check out our free workshop that actually starts the same day this episode drops, March 24th. It's a free 5-day workshop where we will walk you through how to realistically make a full-time income selling on Amazon. You can sign up with that at fulltimefba.com/workshop. And even if you miss a few days, that same link will give you access to the replays. The bottom line is that we want to help you find success and start earning a full-time income on Amazon.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of the Full-Time FBA Show. As a reminder, the show notes and all of the links, and there were quite a few, from this episode can be found at fulltimefba.com/284 because we're on episode number 284.
And next week on the show, we're going to be talking through your biggest Amazon strategy mistake and how to fix it. So join us next week, and we'll get into that next week on the Full-Time FBA Show.
That's all for this episode of the Full-Time FBA Show. So head over to fulltimefba.com/podcast, where you'll find the show notes and links from this episode. While you're there, subscribe to our newsletter where you'll get several free downloads of our popular and helpful Amazon FBA resources. Now, take action on what you've learned today so you can find success at turning part-time hours into a full-time income with Amazon FBA.